everybody, and welcome to Comics from the Future. I'm Andy.
I'm Matt.
We're here with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, and this is our big show where we show you some of the biggest and best books that you can pre-order by this weekend. All your pre-orders are due Sunday by 9 o'clock, so you don't miss out on any of the comic goodness. So head on over to infinityflux.net right now, where you can start placing your pre-orders so you don't miss out on any of these amazing comics. When I say all that, my brain goes into autopilot, and I'm thinking about a lot of other things. But you don't need to go on autopilot because you need to head on over and pre-order these comics.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really cool, really interesting books this week. I feel like what is this? This is going to be
Like
this is
early March. Yeah, late February, early March.
Yeah, so this is like the little pre-summer before we hit like all
Yeah.
the big events and all that kind of stuff. So this is a really great time for like indie books and that kind of stuff. But let's get into this week's worth of books, starting with our Prime comic pre-orders.
We are going to start with Doctor Strange of Asgard #1, and this sounds really cool. This is by Derek Landy and Carlos Magno, and we know that Doctor Strange is no longer the Sorcerer Supreme now that Doctor Doom is, thanks to the events of Blood Hunt, and he's experiencing a little bit of an identity crisis now that he is no longer the Sorcerer Supreme. So he goes off to Asgard to see if they need a sorcerer. And I like what you said the other day about him just walking around. Anybody need a sorcerer? You need magic? You know?
Hey, it looks like you used some magic over there. No,
I can
Dr.
help with that.
Strange,
Yeah,
we're good.
yeah, we're good now. So he goes to Asgard to see if they need any help, and Loki is there and is willing to help with a catch. And Doctor Strange is going to realize that becoming a sorcerer in Asgard is much more complicated than he thought. And the solicitation for #2 says that he is covering up a murder while trying to find the killer of that murder. So I didn't say anything about that for this one, so I'm not sure how much we'll see there, but I just wanted to look ahead to see what is this about. So yeah, it looks like he is going to get up to some involved in a murder mystery in Asgard, and he'll have to try to figure out. I don't know why he's hiding it. I think they're trying to cover it up from Thor, I think is what it said. So we'll have to see what that's all about. But yeah, so this sounds really fun. The next step for Doctor Strange. So
it doesn't say this is a miniseries or ongoing or anything.
I don't. No, I'm not sure which one it is. Unfortunately,
I mean, it's under the One World Under Doom,
Yeah.
but it feels like this is once again like a status quo, not a tie-in.
right. I do think that's what it is because, you know, the reason he's doing this is because of Doom
Yeah.
and what he's doing over there. But I don't think this is like crucial for One World Under Doom.
Yeah.
It's going to be a big tie-in into the main story. It's just this is what Doctor Strange is doing during this big status quo. Yeah.
And I do think, probably this will lead into some fairly important stuff just because I imagine at the end of the day, we're going to have Doctor Strange back as the Sorcerer Supreme.
At some point, yeah.
So if you want to follow the journey of like, he's going to play back into the main story somehow, I think this will be really cool.
Yeah. So this is our A cover right here. We have a NetEase Marvel Rivals variant. I love that design.
Yeah.
There's a Clayton Crane variant, which also looks really cool, and a David Marquez variant, which also looks really cool. So buy all of these covers.
So he's turned his cape into a jacket.
I guess so.
Asgard is a little cold.
Yeah.
Next up, we have a new indie book. This is Pop Kill #1 from Mad Cave. This is by Jimmy Palmiotti and Dave Johnson with art by Juan Santa Cruz. And if this looks familiar, this was a Kickstarter back in 2020. I have all the issues of this. It is fantastic, but I love that they're bringing it to a wider audience now through Mad Cave, because everyone should check this out. I kind of love the like the weird like branding pop culture wars type thing, and that's what this is all about. So this is set in a world where there's two competing cola companies, and each is run by a former Siamese twin who are now separated and have grown to hate each other. And from what I remember reading it, I should have refreshed myself. But their buildings, like they can kind of see each other from one building to
hilarious.
the other. It's got like some realistic stuff to it, but also this kind of like whimsical world with these big companies.
Kind of sounds like an episode of The Simpsons or something.
Yeah.
That's what you would see in The Simpsons. Two companies across the street from each other.
They're like looking at binoculars at each other.
Yeah. Or like those Twix commercials. They do that in Twix commercials where the left and the right Twix are...
It's kind of like that. But these two brothers kind of hate each other so much now, they want to sabotage the other. And they'll send assassins, saboteurs, espionage personnel to meddle with the other one's recipes. It's just this big war. But it's like, from what I remember reading it, it's very much like a James Bond
Mm.
type feel to it. The way you can even get that feel here with the cover and everything, with the level of espionage that goes on between these two. And I want to say there's like maybe a relationship that crosses the two
Okay.
things that they've got to keep covered up. But it's a story about brotherly love run afoul and the people they hire to do their dirty work. So if you think that sounds cool, if you like the James Bond, but you like this kind of weird, super version of these
Yeah.
cola, kind of a Coke versus Pepsi idea, you'll definitely want to check this out. It is a lot of fun.
This sounds absolutely ridiculous in the best way
Yeah.
possible. Like, just sometimes we need just silly, fun stories, and I mean that with love.
Yeah, and I have all the issues of this, but I'm still gonna get this.
Oh yeah.
Because I love Jimmy Palmiotti's writing. So we've got our A cover here by Dave Johnson, who is one of the writers on the book. We have a Dan Panosian
Oh,
variant.
jeez.
This one I didn't mean to put, but this is an incentive. It's a 1 in 10 Amanda Connor. And then a very spicy Bryan Stelfreeze cover, but it is open order.
Next, we have the Ultimates number 10, and this is going to be the first appearance of Ultimate Namor, which is going to be really cool. So, Captain America and the Human Torch, they lead a team to recruit their old teammate, Namor, from back in World War II days. But to do that, they're going to have to get through the Red Skull gang first. And if you remember from Ultimates number 2, when Captain America was kind of catching up on world history, there was a panel that it looked like the Punisher to me, but he had a headband on with those red skulls on there. So that skull looks like a Punisher skull, but it's red. So I don't know if this is some kind of amalgamation of the Punisher and Red Skull, or if the Red Skull we know has nothing to do with it, and it's just maybe a bunch of Punisher type people, but their skulls are red. I have no idea, but we definitely will learn more. But that's all the solicitation tells us. But it is a pretty big deal because
And what does that have to do with Namor? Which
yeah,
feels like Namor very water centric. Them not so
yeah,
much.
like I mean, I get why they are going after Namor, but why is the Red Skull
Yeah.
getting in the way of that? Yeah. So Ultimates number 10 right here, first appearance of Ultimate Namor. Ultimates number 9 that comes out next week is the first appearance of Ultimate Luke Cage. We will be talking about that on our Monday show. So lots of new characters popping up in the
Yeah.
Ultimate Universe, and this is another one. So this is our really cool A cover. There's an Inhale Kali Ultimate Special variant, and he looks just like regular Namor.
Yeah. I was expecting Ultimate Namor to be maybe blue,
Yeah.
or something crazy different.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's about as classic like Invaders era Namor
Yeah,
as you can
he
get.
looks more like Namor there than current 616 Namor.
Sure.
And then there is a Mateus Manhanini variant. I love that one. I love all the height differences and
Yeah, all the new characters
yeah,
all together.
that's great.
Okay, next up, we have a new book from Distillery. This is Defiant. This is by Chuck Austin, and the art is by Pat Olive. And it sounds really cool. It's a very, almost like, I don't know, a little Blade Runner feeling, a little alien feeling. We've got our main character here, Sandusky, who's a bit older. He's kind of ready to retire from all his space travel, but he does have to make one final mission, and it's to retrieve his son Devin's body and uncover the truth behind his death. So he heads out there, and when he finds his son's body entombed among the wreckage of his ship, which is called Defiant, he starts to notice some weird inconsistencies and some things that don't quite make sense. And it seems like this is going to lead into a deeper galaxy-spanning mystery that involves like warring planets and a lot bigger stuff. So it sounds really cool, and it looks like there are aliens because that little
Yeah.
dog thing's very alien. It's got robots, so it sounds really cool. I'm excited to check this one out. So we've got our A cover right here. We have our Olivetti cover, which looks awesome. I love the environment and everything, and that's a mean man's face on a dog.
Yeah, that
body.
doesn't look as cute as the previous cover does.
And then we also have this
Is that
Dan
Panosian?
Panosian.
Yeah.
You can tell his style for sure.
All right, so next up, sorry about that, making notes here. We've got Web of Spider-Verse New Blood number 1. And this is from Matt Groom and Greg Pak with art by Federico Vincentini and some others as well. So this is going to lead into the Spider-Verse versus Venom-verse storyline that comes out.
Spider-Verse versus Venom-verse story verse.
Yeah, right. The verse 2. And so this one is going to feature 3 different stories with 3 new spider characters, and you can see them on the cover. We have Count Parker, who is a vampire, it looks like. Spider Prowler, who looks like a nice mix between Spider-Man and the Prowler. And then Spider Hulk, who, we've seen what that looks like before, like back in the old Web of Spider-Man days in the 90s. But I guess maybe there's a universe out there.
Smaller than traditional Spider Hulk.
Yeah, maybe there's a universe where he stayed that way after that story back then. So I'm not quite sure what each of these stories is going to be, but we do get, our first appearance of 3 new Spider characters, and we will undoubtedly see them whenever Spider-Verse versus Venom-verse comes out, but that's a little bit further out. So
I wasn't sure I know Spider-Verse is pretty like, it's got its hub and it's got all its members. I don't remember the Venomverse quite having as coherent of a web of life and all
like in that end of the Venomverse book. I think Carnage, right? He just hopped from universe to universe. It wasn't like almost like an organization like the Spider-Verse is. So, but maybe they'll establish that. I'm not sure, but yeah. So lots more Spider-Men going to fight lots more Venoms at some point, and these are the first 3, I guess. So this is our A cover. We have an Ario Anindito cover,
which does look way more like the classic Spider Hulk.
Yeah, and then there's a Lucas Wernick variant.
At first, I thought that was very Mario, like they were just popping out of a green screen.
Right.
Next up, we have the return of Penthouse Comics. This is Penthouse Comics 2025 #1. And this is really cool. And once again, there's a lot of stigma that goes with this, but if you actually check it out, this is mostly kind of crime noir stories that are really, really good. Some of them are translated from their original languages, like Italian, for some of them, with very unique art. I liken it to like heavy metal with the multiple styles of art, storytelling, all of that. And this is continuing some of the previous stories, but with new jumping on points for stuff like Miss October, which I really liked, whereas like different people were getting murdered that were kind of related to months in a calendar and all of that. Also Gun Crazy, which is very kind of like Mad Max story. Plus, there's going to be new surprise ongoing stories that they haven't revealed yet that you've got to wait till it comes out to check out. But great creators, great art, all of that on this. So it's still mature, but not always in the ways you think. So yeah, definitely check it out. We've got our A cover here. We have a Braille cover and a Suspiria cover, which that one's really cool and it reminds me of like either old like crime novels or old like Vampirella.
Yeah, like Bela Lugosi vampire or something, or Dracula. Yeah,
that's very cool.
All right, so next is Uncanny X-Men #11, and this is going to be part 1 of the big X-Manhunt crossover that is going to be happening between all of the various X-Men related books, X-Factor, X-Force, all of those. I think it's going to be 8 parts or maybe 10. I'm not quite sure.
It's crossovers, and then I think there's one.
There's like a Omega issue or something.
Issue at the end of it.
But not a big event. It's just one story that's weaving in and out of all of the X books, just one each. So it's not like a big like 20-part thing. So in this storyline, though, in this overall storyline, something has spurred Charles Xavier into escaping from Grey Malkin prison, and we just saw him in the Raid on Grey Malkin storyline, and he decided to stay there. But now he wants to break out, and he does, and he embarks on a trip across the country. But what caused him to want to do this? And will his former pupils want to protect him, capture him, or kill him? And in this book, since this is Uncanny X-Men, this is going to focus on Rogue and her team. They're going to be forced to ally with their worst enemy in order to betray their most trusted friend. So I'm not sure who that is.
This is going to be like rather than it feeling like a part 1, a part 2, it's going to be Xavier kind of coming into the lives of these different teams.
Yeah, that's what I think.
And how they react to that.
Yeah, that's what I think.
So it feels like, if you're just reading one book, you'll maybe you will maybe not know exactly like where he was previous or where he's going next, but I don't think it should affect the overall story too much.
Probably not. So this comes out. This and the next book come out March 5th. So we can let you know
Yeah.
how when those come out. We can let you know how much do you need to read each one. Is it one continuous story, or is it just Xavier's in this city, now he's in this city,
Yeah.
and so we can let you know for sure. But so for here we have our A cover. There's a Luciano Vecchio variant. There is a Peach Momoko variant, and there's a Phil Noto variant, and then we have NYX #9, and this is part 2 of the X-Men Hunt storyline. This also comes out on March 5th. So on March 5th, you get the first 2 parts of this story. And in this one, Xavier's first stop is New York City, but there are plenty of mutants there who don't want him there. They're not real happy with him. Will his return bolster the NYX community or tear it down? And what does Xavier want from the city, and what is he willing to do to get it? So again, this is what we're talking about, where maybe in this issue he pops over to New York, and then in Uncanny X-Men he's going to be in New Orleans, and then X-Men he goes up to Alaska, and don't know how connected they'll all be, but again we can let you know. So this is our A cover. We have another Peach Momoko cover, and then there is a Phil Noto. Oh, these are the Phil Noto ones are connecting.
Okay.
So when you put them all together, you'll see like a big lineup, I guess,
Big
of a bunch of
police
different.
line,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I didn't realize that.
Next up, we have our next What If. This is Marvel and Disney. What if Mickey and friends became the Avengers #1? So following the footsteps of what if Donald became Wolverine, or what if Donald became Thor, or the Mickey and friends were the Fantastic Four. This one is tackling the Avengers. So this is by Steve Bailing and Alessandro Pestoviccio, who I believe are the same creative teams from the previous issues. And how did this crazy team of mashed up Mighty Marvel manifest? You'll have to find out here as they go up against Loki. Which was it? Gladstone Loki. And of course, you've got Donald as Thor, Mickey as Iron Man, Goofy as the Hulk, Minnie as Wasp, and Pluto as Ant Man. And it also says.
Wait, who's Pete?
Pete is not the villain in this one.
Pete's always been the villain in
I
all
know.
of them, right?
I don't know Gladstone. I think Gladstone is a kind of a deeper cut, um, weird, like impish character. But I don't exactly know. But it'll be interesting to see once again how this is interpreted. These are usually just fun little one shots that kind of tell a full story. That kind of cover loosely the whatever would have been Avengers #1 and 2, that kind of stuff, but in one issue. But some great covers here. So we've got our A cover. We have an Adam Kubert variant.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. And man, that is a ripped Goofy. We have a Dan Jurgens cover.
I like that one too.
We have a Phil Noto that's really fun with Pluto as Ant-Man. And we have a Chrissy Zulo cover. So it looks like Daisy is Scarlet Witch. And then
Or is that Lady Sif?
That might be Lady. Yeah, that's Lady Sif, and
then that's what's his name? The duck, the other duck.
That's Loki.
Right, but what's the character's name?
Gladstone. So that must be.
Okay, I'm not familiar with him.
Mm-mm.
All right, so next up we have Justice League Unlimited #4, and this one sounds cool because there is a new threat arises. A new threat arises across space and time, and the Justice League they race to put out multiple fires, but the mystery surrounding Martian Manhunter deepens. And on top of all that, the terrorist group known as Inferno makes its boldest move yet as their secret leader is revealed. So we got to see what kind of sort of what they look like last issue, but they just appeared as these cloaked, hooded figures. Yeah, those guys. And now we're going to see at least who is under one of the hoods anyway. I don't know if it'll be somebody we know or somebody we don't, but
I have my theories about who's
I
behind
like your theory
this.
on that, by the way. Yeah.
But we also know in a pretty soon coming issue we're getting the Legion of Doom.
Yeah.
So who knows how they tie into all of this, but
I don't know.
Yeah, I'll let you know if my theory is correct.
Yeah.
Matt can, I can't just say, yeah, I got it. I let him know before.
Yeah, so I know what his theory, and it's a good theory too. Like, I think it's my theory too now, so we'll have to see if it's right. And if it's not right, then it was never my theory, but it was still yours.
It was.
So we have our A cover right here. There's a Christian Ward variant. There is a Lucio Perillo variant. There is a Salvador LaRocca variant. And there is a Ryan Benjamin Black History Month variant.
I love that one. That Mr. Terrific is awesome.
I love Mr. Terrific. Even though he's being a kind of a jerk right now over in Challengers of the Unknown, I still like him a lot.
Next up, we've got Absolute Wonder Woman issue number 5. So this wraps up our first story arc of Absolute Wonder Woman. Not the whole series. It's still coming out, but this kind of wraps up that first kind of introductory to this Absolute Wonder Woman. And I really don't know what's going to happen because Wonder Woman has thrown everything against the Tetracide, but it keeps on coming. Even if she makes a sword, even a bigger sword.
Yeah.
It seems like that's not enough to stop the rampaging monster.
I'm glad to hear because in the last issue, I thought that it was over.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's it?
Yeah.
You made a big deal out of this. So and I kind of, thought a little bit less of that last issue because of that, but maybe I'll be wrong. Once we read this, maybe it'll elevate that.
It says it's still pushing forward, so maybe it just reforms.
Never judge a story until you've read the whole thing.
Yeah. But Diana has one big idea left, but currently doesn't have the power she needs to pull it off. Where will she turn to get this power? Who will she turn to? I imagine this is going to have a pretty big something happen in it that I can't wait to find out. But, yep, this is Absolute Wonder Woman number 5. We've got our A cover here. We have an Omer cover, which I love.
I love that. Yeah, that looks like a Final Fantasy cover.
It does,
with the Buster Sword. That.
And that Wonder Woman could be a Final Fantasy character there, and the Tetracide in the background definitely looks like a thing you would find. So yeah, very Final Fantasy all the way around. Then we also have a Ji-Young Lee cover as well. With that sword, that's a long sword. It's not wide, but that just keeps on going.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got more Essential Comics, starting with
Superman number 23. And this is, I want to say, the next to last part of this Doomsday story that they've been telling, because I think number 25 starts a new story. Don't quite quote me on that yet, but I'm pretty sure that's how this is structured. So in this one, Superman is battling for the life of Doomsday against all of those. Did they have a name? The big squad
they were not the survivors, but the something.
Yeah, that's an interesting.
Yeah, the something.
But yeah, so all of those aliens came by wanting Doomsday for themselves because they're the survivors of his attacks, and Superman said no. I don't know why, but so he is fighting them for the life of Doomsday, while Superwoman travels across time and space to unlock the secrets of the Time Trapper, who we know who the Time Trapper is now, and what life-shattering secrets lurk at the end of time, and what clues can Lois find to save the future. So it sounds like it's got some weight to it, and I guess maybe they do save the future because he's going to be around for another couple issues. But yeah, so just another. This is probably my favorite book on the stands right now amongst any publisher. Like this one is my parking lot book. It's the one that I have to read as the minute I get it in my hands. So I love this series so much. So this is our A cover right here. We have a Nathan Zerdy variant. There is a Dan Panosian variant. He's all over the place.
Yeah.
A Gilliam March variant. And a Kari Andrews Hush variant because that is coming soon.
Yeah, very soon.
Not in the pages of Superman, but I guess,
They got that's like a Marvel cover to just be, a random thing on another random thing. But very cool. Next up, we have The Seasons, issue number 2. This is going to be a big series, and hopefully everyone picked up issue number 1 that came out Wednesday. But we are continuing on with issue number 2, where the Seasons sisters have received invitations to the magical carnival that may be responsible for the disappearance of their parents from years ago. How are they related? We're not quite sure. But a bigger sinister mystery arises that Spring will have to uncover as she heads. I guess she's going into the carnival, and they said this is a carnival where all your dreams come true. So I wonder, is it you go into the tent and it's bigger on the inside, or I'm interested to see the full scope of this carnival because we've only basically seen it as it's pulling out of town or parading down the street, but not once it's set up. Yeah. So I'm very excited about this. This is your A cover, and I didn't mean to have this one, but this is the 1 in 25 Raymond K. Perez cover as well. Don't hold it against me.
And next up is From the World of Minor Threats, Welcome to Twilight number 1. This is another book in the Minor Threats ever-expanding universe of books. And in this one, written by Patton Oswalt, Matt Fraction, Jordan Bloom, with art by Michael Allred, which is cool. There's a guy named Benjamin Bronkowitz. He's a washed-up bird-winged actor who is not a superhero, but he used to play one on TV. But now he spends his days kind of navigating the superhero convention circuit, trying to make money off of his fleeting fame, but drinking it away as fast as he earns it. But there is a chance encounter with a mysterious woman that empowers Brock to fight for a life he once thought was over. So yeah, just it sounds like I haven't read much of the Minor Threats, but you've read some of it
I've
and
read
really
some,
like it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I really like the Barfly series,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Yeah, so this sounds like another really cool addition to that. If you and there's a lot of fans of Minor Threats out
Yeah.
there, so don't miss out on this next little section of that. This is our A cover, and we have another cover, but the artist. Oh, that's Michael Allred. Yeah.
Yep, Michael Allred.
Yeah.
Next up, we have a new Assassin's Creed book. This is Assassin's Creed Mirage, Soar of Eagles. And this is written by Michael Avon Oeming, and the art is by Mirka Kolak. And this is set years before Assassin's Creed Mirage, and it follows Fulad, who was kind of, I believe, one of the kind of mentor characters from Mirage, and follows him on an early mission investigating clues that could lead to a secret order of the ancient stronghold. So this is the only Assassin's Creed game I have not played yet, and I own it, but I have not played it yet. So I'm not fully aware of everything about it, but I need to play it before the new one comes out, which looks really good.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
This will be awesome.
So if you're an Assassin's Creed fan, the comics for them are great, so definitely check this out. And only one cover for this one. And next up, we got continuing stories. Stories that have already started or about to start, but it's still time to order the next ones. Starting with Black Canary, Best of the Best. And this has been so good so far. I'm guessing this is issue number 4 of 6. I'm guessing this is round 4 of 6, although this one doesn't say that. But after the last issue where Ted Grant, the Wildcat, also got beat up by Lady
that was
Shiva,
great. Yeah.
is this enough for Dinah to start actually fighting back and kind of realizing, hey, there's more at stake here than just my needs and everything. So I'm ready to see the tables turn and Black Canary really start giving it to Lady Shiva.
Yeah. Because we know she can. I mean, she's getting her tail whipped, but that's because she's not really trying.
Yeah,
you know?
her heart's definitely not in it or
Yeah.
anything. But I'm super excited about this one. And
I just want more lectures from Batman. You shouldn't be doing this. You're making,
should be doing this.
This is ridiculous.
I'm still gonna do it. Okay, I guess
Yeah.
I'll train with you. But we've got our A cover here, and we have a Lynn variant as well.
Next up is Green Lantern Dark number 3, and this is a Elseworlds book, as you can see there on the title, or on the cover there up in the top right. In this one, the young girl Lunette, who this new Green Lantern has kind of befriended, she gets snatched away in the night by a monster that haunts their town of New Camelot, and Green Lantern has no choice but to venture into a nightmarish castle with untold horrors within in order to save Lunette. But her green flame draws the eye of someone who watches intently from the dark. So I don't know who that might be. Maybe it's kind of looks like a Bat character.
Yeah, wait till one of the variants in it.
Oh, okay.
Definitely.
Yeah, I haven't seen the variants yet. So yeah, very interesting. All right, so this is our A cover by Werther Dell'Edera. There's a David Nakayama. Ooh,
Yeah.
that is really cool.
It's a mix of a lot of, like, the head almost looks like Despero.
Yeah.
It's got the fin, but
Well, it doesn't quite look like the head of the previous cover though, because I thought I could see the ears on the
Yeah.
previous one, and then that one has a fin instead.
who are these mystery people?
I don't know. And then there is a Tran Nguyen variant also, and that is your Green Lantern in this story.
Well, the designs have been kind of weird because there was that David Nakayama cover for, I think, number 1 that had a Green Lantern that didn't look like
Yeah, I didn't know.
the
I didn't know
Green
who
Lantern
that
in
was.
it.
That is what she looks
Yeah.
like, but I don't know who that other character was.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Metamorpho the Elephant. The Elephant. I always want to say the Elephant Man. The
The
Element
elephant in the
Man.
room.
Metamorpho the Element Man, issue number 3, and horrible news: Rex has split with Sapphire Stag.
Oh no.
They were the perfect couple,
Yeah.
but they have broken up. So why hasn't Element Woman or Element Girl made her move? Probably because she is busy with a secret mission for Shade. And we know they're bringing Vandal Savage into this because he's got a long history with them and everything. So sounds really cool. I love this kind of Indiana Jones cover.
Indiana Jones, James Bond, Kill Bill.
Oh,
That's awesome.
I didn't get it. I just noticed it.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones. But we've got our A cover here. And we also have a Derek Chew variant with back when they were happy together.
Next up, we have Kill Train number 2. And there's not a whole lot of information in these solicitations about this, but we do know that our main character, Vanessa, she's on the cover there. She is having a terrible time. Everything's going wrong in her life. At the end of the first issue, she wound up reluctantly taking the train downtown, and it turned out that that is the next Kill Train. And so she doesn't know what to do. So in this one, she's going to try to turn a ragtag group of survivors who are also on the train with her into a psycho slaughtering army. Will they be able to stop the killer that's on that train wanting to kill them, or will each one of them get picked off one by one? I'm willing to say that at least some of them will get picked off. I'm not too sure.
They're not all making it out.
And this is our only cover.
Well, next up we got Power Lords at number 2. I really like number 1. V. Marion's art was awesome in number 1.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited to see where all these crazy characters go next, because there's really no lore that this is based off of other than just the original action figures. There was a DC book that came out back in like 1983 or something, but they're really building out this world just based off of these toys. And in this one, we know in the previous one, in the past, we saw Adam Power find the power jewel before he becomes Power Lord. But what will he choose to do with it? We kind of know, but there is some weird time travel stuff involved, and will finding it drive a rift between him and his best friend? We will find out. But hopefully you checked out number 1, because it was a lot of fun, very colorful, really cool, very 80s toy characters, like that character that just looks like He-Man stuck on a tank.
That's what I was looking at. That looks exactly like He-Man, and the tank that he's on looks like a vehicle from Masters of the Universe.
Yeah.
Like this little bit right here, maybe it looks like the Wind Raider, like that thing that's on the front, like that. Oh gosh, that's.
Yeah.
Where's that figure?
That
I want
character
that.
in the background looks like he's on the Sky Sled.
Yeah, I feel like that's a character that. What's the kid?
Sid from Toy Story.
Yes, he would have made that. Yeah,
Let's slapped a couple of toys together. But it's a lot of fun. It's because it's got that like 80s toy visual, just craziness. But yeah, so we've got our A cover here. We've got a Salvador LaRocca variant with another one of your big baddies, and a Francis Portela variant as well. Next up, we got Cover Gallery. These are just super cool covers. We want to make sure that you do not miss out on seeing them with your eyeballs. Starting with Batman The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween, issue number 5 of 10. And of course, this is the Joker issue. So you've got your Sienkiewicz cover and a Rob Liefeld cover, which is kind of a surprise to see. And man, does his Joker have... He's got those teeth that whales have.
Those are some tall teeth.
To sift through krill.
He can't close his mouth. His teeth are taller than his lips.
That makes my jaw sore just looking at it.
We also have Detective Comics number 1094. Wanted to show you this Ariel Olivetti cover, and we want to show you the Ryan Benjamin Black History Month variant with the Signal, and also the Dustin Nguyen Hush variant.
It's cool with Hush and the cape.
Yeah.
Next, we've got Harley Quinn, number 48. Some great covers for this. This is our David Nakayama variant with Poison Ivy. And this one's really cool. This, he's very much channeling some Jim Lee here. This is the Gleb Milkonov Hush variant.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I really like the colors and everything.
Mm-hmm. We also have Green Lantern number 20. I love this Steven Segovia. I love Steven Segovia's work. Yeah. And his covers are great. So this one is cool. And there's a Fernando Blanco variant also. He's I guess the blood. I guess when you're in space, the blood doesn't rush to your head.
Yeah, and I guess it's Kyle.
Yeah, that's Kyle.
Okay. Next up, we've got Power Girl number 18, and this is just a really cool Elizabeth Torque variant.
This is Hello Darkness number 8, and I love this. This is from Dan Mora. I don't know who that character is, but she looks awesome.
It's very cool. Yeah. It looks a lot like his Once and Future stuff.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got Marvel Rivals. We got a couple of these. This is for Immortal Thor number 21, the NetEase Marvel Rivals variant with Loki and Hela on the other side. I'm not good at playing as either of those. And we also have the one for Moon Knight Fist of Khonshu number 6, the NetEase variant with Moon Knight. I do love playing as Moon Knight because he throws his moonarangs and they ricochet off people.
Oh,
so
nice.
And, the haptic controller just goes like... And I really like that feeling. So that's a really cool cover too.
This is Spider-Gwen, the Ghost Spider number 11. This is the A cover, right?
Yep.
And this is the start of a new story where she goes into space,
Yeah,
right?
she gets
And
that new
Loki's
space
there.
suit and
Yeah.
everything.
So, yeah, this is going to be cool.
It's a Mark Brooks A cover.
Yeah, there is a Cliff Chang variant, and there is a Todd Knock iconic variant.
Next up, we've got Ultimate X-Men number 13. I think this is like the end of the first big year of storytelling,
Or is it the start of the second
or the
year?
start of the second
Yeah.
year. I don't quite know with this one, but this is the Ben Sue 1 year in foil variant, which is really cool. It's very anime.
Mm-hmm.
And a Martin Simmons variant, which I don't know who this is or what situation they're in.
And then we have Thundercats number 13. This is the FOC Mark Spears variant with a very realistic looking Lion-O.
He looks like a very dad Lion-O.
Yeah, he's like somebody's dad that works out on the weekends.
Yeah.
Lion-O.
Next up, we got bookshelf. So these are some cool collected editions of stuff you'll want to put right on your bookshelf after reading them first. First up, we have DC Finest Superman Family, the Giant Turtle Man. So this this is really cool. If you're not familiar with the Superman family, and they had their own book, but this also will collect stuff like Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, which is what this is from, where Jimmy Olsen turned into a giant turtle man. Which a lot of people's theories for the new Superman trailer are that that's Jimmy Olsen as a
That's
giant
my
kaiju.
theory. That big monster that he's fighting, I think that's Jimmy Olsen. Maybe it won't be like a big part of the story. Maybe it's like a flashback. Remember that time? But I think that's Jimmy Olsen in the movie. And if anybody could pull that off, James Gunn could do that. So yeah.
Yeah, and which would be referencing this.
That's
pretty
right.
Much.
Yep.
This also has Superman's girlfriend Lois Lane, 19 through 28. Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, 47 through 56. Action Comics 266 and 277, and Superman 142 and 143. This also has stories with Crypto and Streaky, the Super Cat, just all of the fun family of Superman.
All of the ridiculous Silver Age stuff, and again, I mean ridiculous in a good way because it's fun.
It's so much fun. It's very like all ages, lighthearted, and this is going to be $39.99.
This is the Suicide Squad, the new 52 Omnibus. This is going to be $99.99, and it collects I believe it's the entire new 52 Suicide Squad, number 0 through 30, and just a bunch more random books here too. So we just had the Gail Simone Secret Six not too long ago, and I know this doesn't really go with that, but it's another Suicide Squad Omnibus to add to your collection.
And next up, we have Ultimate Black Panther by Bryan Hill, Volume 2, Gods and Kings. So if you've been waiting for the collected editions to read this is really good. I feel like Volume 2 is better than Volume 1 because this is when you've got Okoye and Killmonger go out try to find the new Sorcerer Supreme,
which was my favorite part of the whole arc. She's great.
Yeah,
I want to know more about
cool.
her.
I want to see more of her. I want them to pull her over into Ultimates because I think that would be awesome. But this collects 7 through 12 of that series, and it is only $17.99.
This is the Agent Venom Omnibus, not the Agent Venomnibus. Missed opportunity, Marvel. Because they did that with the other Venom omnibuses, right? But not this one. So this is going to be $150. So this is one of the bigger boys. And this is going to collect the issues 1 through 42 of the 2011 Venom series when Flash Thompson became Agent Venom. It's also going to collect the 13 issues of the Venom Space Knight story, where he went off into space, hooked up with the Guardians of the Galaxy, and there is a ton of other stuff in there too, like little onesie-twosie issues here and there. So the entire saga of Flash Thompson as Agent Venom, whether it was here or in space, it's all in this. So this is the standard edition cover, which is available at bookstores everywhere, and then this is the direct market variant, which is available only at comic book stores like ours.
That's interesting. I wonder if it had when Flash Thompson became Venom, wasn't he immediately Agent Venom? He didn't have a time where he was like Big Venom.
Right.
Okay, yeah. So I think you have like Tony Moore doing the art on
a
lot of that.
Yeah, that's the series.
I really like that. That first run was really cool.
Yeah, they've released 2 or 3 epic collections with all this stuff, but now they're combining it all in one omnibus, which should be cool.
And next up, we have Spawn Violator. And this collects the 3 issues of the Violator miniseries, which I think this may be one of the first times those are all collected together in one. This was by Alan Moore, Bart Sears, and Greg Capullo, which
Oh
is
wait, this is the OG.
the
I was
yeah.
thinking it was the newer
No,
one.
this is
Yeah.
the original
Yeah.
3-issue
Okay.
miniseries, which I think I have. Maybe I have all of it, maybe not. But
This would be a great companion piece to the Spawn compendiums.
yes,
Because this isn't included in those. So.
yeah, this
Ooh.
to get the full effect. I know they're also doing Hellspawn as a big collected edition.
Oh, I might have to get this. Greg
yeah.
Capullo, early Greg Capullo stuff.
I've already pre-ordered this,
right?
Because
yeah, same.
I need this to round up my Spawn collection. But this is going to be only $9.99. It is only 3 issues, but that's if you try to go find the issues, they're probably $3 to $5 each. So this is your best way of reading the whole thing all in one. And yep, sounds really cool.
And this is the Feral Trade Paperback Volume 2, collecting issues 6 through 10. Because again, this is an ongoing series, so things are not getting any better for our feline friends. And this is going to be $16.99.
Next up, we have new printings. Only one this time, and it's more of a facsimile, but this one's really cool. So it's Fantastic Four Facsimile Edition #1. They've done this in the past, but this is kind of a new printing for it. And I love that it feels like we're entering a year of Fantastic Four that I am here for. I love it because I love the Fantastic Four. And check this out. So we've got our regular cover, but there's also an Alex Ross cover homaging that original one.
I think we have. Hasn't he done? We've seen this before, right?
We've seen this before.
Like it's not new for this.
So there was the Fantastic Four where different artists did each page of it or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think this was one of the covers for that, or one of the interior pages for that. But yeah, really cool. And even matches where Ben Grimm is wearing purple pants.
Yeah.
In the tone and everything, because they didn't have their costumes.
They don't get their costumes till issue 3. So the first couple issues, they're just like kind of in suits and ties and all that stuff.
So really cool in there, and great Alex Ross cover. And that is it for Comics from the Future. So thank you so much for watching. Head over to infinityflux.net right now, where you can place your pre-orders. And to answer some questions that pop up sometimes, you pre-order them, you don't pay for them until the books arrive, your invoice. That way, if there's some delays or whatever, it's all good. But yeah, some great books this week. So go ahead and get your pre-orders in. It helps me when I'm placing the orders to know what you're excited about, what we need to order up on. Yeah, it's super important information for us. And
pre-ordering is a win-win for everybody. The shops want you to pre-order. It's good for you to reserve your books. It is a good thing to pre-order.
And everything you pre-order, you get 10% off of. So that's an added bonus there. But again, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for our show coming up on Monday, where we'll be going over a lot of the big books that are coming out next week to stores. That includes the new Star Wars Legacy of Vader Kylo Ren book. That is Ultimates number 9.
Absolute Superman 4.
Absolute Superman 4.
Luke Cage Timeless #1. Yeah, some big stuff next week.
It's some big stuff, so don't miss out on that. Like and subscribe on YouTube, Instagram, everywhere we are.
Before our show on Monday, Jason and Megan will be here on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern doing their Sunday show, which they've been doing on Facebook for several years now. But starting last week, they are also doing it live on YouTube and Instagram as well. So you will have some other stuff to watch from us on Sunday as they show off a nice showcase of nice books, and then we'll be back on Monday.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time,
see ya.
Bye.